The jungle was never supposed to be this quiet. If someone had told Ethan Walker that the most dangerous moment of his life would begin with silence, he would have laughed. The jungle was always loud. Insects buzzing. Birds screaming. Monkeys arguing in the trees like tiny angry politicians. But now, nothing. No insects. No birds. No wind. Just silence. Ethan slowly stopped walking. His boots sank slightly into the damp soil, and the heavy air clung to his skin like warm glue. The jungle around him looked normal. Thick green leaves, twisted roots, and tall ancient trees. Yet every survival instinct in his body screamed that something was wrong. Ethan had spent years working in dangerous places. Wars. Disaster zones. Remote jungles where maps simply stopped existing. Those instincts had kept him alive. And right now, those instincts were yelling at him. Then he saw it. At first, it looked like nothing more than a shadow near the roots of a giant tree. A dark shape half hidden by vines and wet leaves. Ethan slowly moved closer. His hand rested on the handle of the machete at his belt. The shape moved. It was a woman. She was slumped against the massive roots, breathing weakly. Her dark hair clung to her face, and one shoulder was stained with blood. Ethan crouched beside her carefully. She looked human. Mostly. But something about her felt wrong. Not terrifying. Not monstrous. Just wrong in a quiet way that made his instincts tighten. Her eyes suddenly opened. Ethan froze. They were silver. Not grey. Not light blue. Silver. They shimmered like liquid metal under sunlight. For a moment the two of them simply stared at each other. Then the woman tried to move and gasped in pain. "Easy," Ethan said quietly, raising his hands. "Don't move too fast. That shoulder looks bad." She didn't answer. She just watched him. Her silver eyes studied him the way a scientist might study an insect. Ethan sighed. "Well," he said, opening his backpack, "I don't know who you are or where you came from, but bleeding in the jungle is usually a bad idea." He pulled out a small medical kit. The woman finally spoke. "You should leave." Her voice was weak but calm. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Funny thing," he said. "People tell me that a lot." He carefully cleaned the wound on her shoulder. Her skin shimmered slightly as he touched it. Not glowing. Not changing. Just shifting. Like heat waves on hot pavement. Ethan paused. "Okay," he muttered. "That's definitely new." The woman watched him carefully. "You should leave," she repeated. "They will come." Ethan glanced around the silent jungle. "Yeah," he said slowly. "I was already getting that feeling." He continued cleaning the wound. Normally people screamed when antiseptic touched a deep cut. This woman didn't even flinch. She just watched him with quiet curiosity. "You handle pain pretty well," Ethan said. "It is manageable." "Right," Ethan nodded. "Not normal." He finished wrapping the wound. Then he leaned back and studied her. "So," he said, "let's talk about the obvious problem." She waited. "You are not from around here." The woman said nothing. Ethan gestured toward her silver eyes. "And I'm pretty sure humans don't have those." Finally she spoke. "My name is Lyra." Ethan nodded slowly. "Okay, Lyra." Then he asked the important question. "What exactly is hunting you?" For the first time, fear appeared in her eyes. "My own kind." Ethan blinked. "Well," he said, "that sounds complicated." Lyra slowly stood, though she was clearly weak. "They will track me," she said. "They always do." Ethan looked around the jungle again. Still silent. Still wrong. "How long do we have?" he asked. Lyra hesitated. "Not long." Ethan stood up and stretched. "Great," he muttered. Then he grabbed his backpack. "Come on." She looked confused. "Where?" "My cabin," Ethan said. "About 20 minutes north." "You should leave me." Ethan snorted. Lady, if I left every strange wounded person in the jungle, my karma would be terrible. She studied him carefully. You do not understand what I am. True, Ethan said. But I do understand bleeding to death. After a moment, she accepted his help. They slowly walked through the jungle together. Lyra was surprisingly light, but she struggled to stay balanced. Eventually Ethan's small wooden cabin appeared between the trees. It wasn't much. 4 walls, a roof that leaked during heavy rain, and a lot of duct tape repairs. But it was safe. For now. Ethan helped her sit on the small bed. Then he grabbed more medical supplies. All right, he said. Let's fix that shoulder properly. Lyra watched him as he worked. You are not afraid, she said. Should I be? Yes. Too late now. Ethan carefully checked the wound again. Under the torn fabric, her skin shimmered slightly. Then he felt something strange. Something moving under the surface. Like energy flowing beneath ice. He pulled his hand back. Okay, he said slowly. That is definitely not normal human biology. Lyra nodded calmly. I am not human. Ethan leaned against the wall and crossed his arms. Yeah, he said. I figured. There was a brief silence. Then Ethan asked the next question. So, alien? Yes. Ethan rubbed his face. Of course you are. Then Lyra said something that made the entire situation much worse. I am their queen. Ethan stared at her. You're kidding. I am not. Great, Ethan muttered. Just my luck. Outside, the jungle suddenly came alive again. But the sounds were wrong. Not animals. Machines. Something powerful moved through the trees. Lyra's eyes widened. They have arrived. Ethan looked out the window. Bright blue lights flashed between the trees. Metal shapes moved silently above the canopy. Alien ships. Ethan slowly grabbed his rifle. Well, he said. Looks like things just got interesting. Lyra looked at him in shock. You cannot fight them. Ethan smiled slightly. Maybe not. He checked the rifle magazine. But humans are very good at surviving impossible situations. Outside, the alien hunters were closing in, and they had no idea what kind of enemy they were about to face. The first alien ship appeared above the jungle like a silent shadow. It did not roar like a helicopter or scream like a jet. It moved with terrifying calm, hovering above the trees like a predator that already knew its prey could not escape. Ethan stood near the doorway of the cabin, rifle in his hands. Beside him, Lyra sat on the bed, breathing slowly as her body continued healing. Outside, the night sky flashed with cold blue lights. They are faster than I expected, Lyra said quietly. Ethan glanced at her. Good news, he replied. That makes 2 of us. He stepped outside onto the small wooden porch and looked up. 3 ships now. Each one shaped like a black blade cutting through the stars. Small lights scanned the jungle below. They're searching, Ethan muttered. Yes, Lyra said. They track energy. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Energy. She pointed weakly to her chest. My core. Ethan frowned. That thing you told me not to stab. Yes. Well, Ethan sighed, that's inconvenient. A beam of blue light suddenly scanned across the jungle floor, slowly sweeping toward the cabin. Ethan quickly stepped back inside and closed the door. They're getting closer, he said. Lyra looked at him carefully. You should leave now. Ethan grabbed a small metal box from a shelf and opened it. Inside were old military gadgets, wires, batteries, and small explosives. Yeah, he said casually, about that. He began attaching wires to small metal cylinders. You are preparing traps, Lyra observed. Correct. You cannot defeat them. Ethan grinned. I don't need to defeat them. He finished connecting the first explosive and tossed it into his backpack. I just need to confuse them. Lyra tilted her head. Explain. Ethan pointed outside. They are advanced, right? Yes. High technology. Perfect sensors. Smart soldiers. Yes. Ethan smiled wider. Perfect. She blinked. That does not sound logical. It is human logic, Ethan said. He grabbed more equipment. Advanced enemies rely on advanced systems. Yes. But those systems expect predictable behavior. Lyra watched him carefully. And humans are not predictable. Ethan chuckled. Lady, humans invented chaos. Suddenly the ground shook slightly. One of the ships lowered closer to the trees. Metal drones dropped from its underside like falling spiders. Dozens of them. They have deployed scouts, Lyra said. Ethan peeked through the window. Small floating machines were moving through the jungle, scanning everything. Cute, he said. Then he grabbed his backpack. Time to go. Lyra frowned. Go where? Ethan opened the back door. Into the jungle. That is dangerous. Yes. They will detect us. Yes. So why leave the shelter? Ethan gave a simple answer. Because hiding in one place makes us easy targets. He helped her stand. She was stronger now, but still weak. Together they stepped into the darkness of the jungle. Above them, alien drones floated silently through the trees. Ethan moved carefully between the thick roots and vines. Every few meters he stopped and attached something to a tree or rock. Small blinking devices. What are those? Lyra asked. Noise makers. They do not look like noisemakers. They're also explosives. Lyra stared at him. You are insane. Ethan shrugged. Statistically speaking, maybe. Suddenly a drone floated close. Its blue scanning beam swept across the jungle. Ethan immediately froze. The light passed inches from his face. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the drone moved away. Lyra whispered, "They almost saw you." Ethan exhaled slowly. Almost doesn't count. They continued deeper into the jungle. Behind them, the alien ships were getting closer to the cabin. Exactly where Ethan wanted them. 10 minutes later they reached a large rocky hill covered with thick vines. Ethan helped Lyra sit. "Stay here," he said. "You are leaving." "Temporarily." "That is unwise." "Probably." He opened his backpack again. Inside were the remaining explosives. "You are going back," Lyra realized. "Yep." "They will detect you." "Maybe." "They will kill you." "Also possible." She studied him carefully. "Why do you risk your life for someone you just met?" Ethan paused. Then he shrugged. "Because that's what humans do." Before she could answer, he disappeared into the jungle again. Minutes later Ethan reached the cabin. Alien drones surrounded the area now. Metal soldiers had landed near the porch. Tall. Armored. Not human at all. Their armor glowed with faint blue energy. Ethan crouched behind a fallen tree. "Okay," he whispered. "Let's make some chaos." He pressed a small button on a remote. Far away in the jungle. Boom. One of the explosives detonated. Then another. Then 3 more. Explosions echoed through the forest. The alien drones instantly changed direction. They rushed toward the explosions. "Good," Ethan smiled. "Follow the noise." But that wasn't the real trap. The real trap was the cabin. Inside the cabin were the biggest explosives. And the alien soldiers were already entering. Ethan pressed the second button. Inside the cabin. Flash. A massive blast shook the entire jungle. Wood shattered. Fire erupted. The alien soldiers were thrown across the clearing. The ships above immediately reacted. Bright searchlights flooded the area. But Ethan was already gone. Running through the jungle. Behind him, the aliens were confused. Their sensors were detecting explosions everywhere. False signals. Heat signatures. Movement. Chaos. Exactly what Ethan wanted. He returned to the rocky hill where Lyra waited. She looked shocked. You destroyed your shelter. Yep. Why? Ethan sat down beside her. Because now they think you died in the explosion. Lyra stared at him. That is clever. Ethan grinned. Humans are good at tricks. But suddenly, the jungle trembled again. This time much harder. Ethan looked up. One of the alien ships was descending directly above them. Lyra's eyes widened. They found us. Ethan frowned. That's not good. The ship lowered closer. A powerful beam of light struck the ground in front of them. A figure stepped out of the light. Tall. Armored. More advanced than the others. Lyra's voice dropped to a whisper. That is the High Hunter. The alien raised a glowing weapon. You cannot hide forever, Queen. Ethan slowly stood up. Then he cracked his neck. Well, he said calmly. Guess it's time for Plan B. Lyra looked at him. You have another plan. Ethan smiled. Not really. He lifted his rifle. But humans are very good at improvising. The High Hunter aimed its weapon. Energy built inside the cannon. And in that moment, human courage faced alien power. The battle had begun. The alien ship hovered above the jungle like a cold metal moon. Wind from its engines pushed the trees downward, making the leaves tremble as if the forest itself was afraid. Ethan stood in front of Lyra with his rifle raised. Across from him, the High Hunter stepped out of the beam of light. The creature was tall and armored in black metal that looked almost alive. Blue energy flowed through the lines of its armor like lightning trapped under glass. Its glowing eyes locked onto Lyra. Your escape ends here, Queen, the High Hunter said in a deep mechanical voice. Lyra slowly stood beside Ethan, though her body was still healing. You should run, she whispered. Ethan didn't move. Yeah, he said quietly. That seems to be your favorite advice. The High Hunter lifted its weapon. You are irrelevant, human. Ethan tilted his head slightly. Rude. Then the alien fired. A beam of bright blue energy shot forward like lightning. Ethan threw himself sideways. The blast slammed into the rock behind him, exploding it into dust. The jungle shook. Okay, Ethan muttered while rolling behind a fallen tree. That thing definitely hurts. More alien soldiers dropped from the ship above. 4. Then 6. Then 10. Each one carrying weapons that hummed with deadly energy. Lyra's eyes widened. There are too many. Ethan peeked over the tree. Yeah, he admitted. Math isn't looking great for us right now. The High Hunter stepped closer. Humans are weak creatures. Your resistance is pointless. Ethan slowly stood up again. He looked at the alien calmly. Then he said something that confused the entire alien squad. You're right. The High Hunter paused. Explain. Ethan shrugged. Humans are weak. Physically. Compared to most species. The alien soldiers kept their weapons aimed at him. Humans are slow. Fragile. We can't survive extreme environments like many other species. Lyra stared at him in confusion. What are you doing? She whispered. Ethan raised one finger. But humans have one advantage. The High Hunter's voice became cold. And what is that? Ethan smiled. We adapt. Suddenly. Boom. A massive explosion erupted somewhere deeper in the jungle. The alien soldiers turned. Then another explosion followed. And another. The High Hunter looked up at the sky. What is happening? Ethan folded his arms casually. Oh, that, he said. That's just humanity saying hello. The jungle canopy suddenly lit up. Small rockets launched from hidden locations across the forest. Not alien weapons. Human ones. Old military missiles. They shot into the sky like fiery arrows. The alien ship above reacted too slowly. 2 missiles slammed into its side. The ship shook violently. Fire burst from its engines. The High Hunter looked back at Ethan. "You called reinforcements?" Ethan grinned. "Of course I did." Earlier, when Ethan left the cabin, he had done something else besides setting traps. He had activated a small emergency transmitter. A very old one. One that connected to a nearby human research station hidden deep in the jungle. And humans. Humans were very protective of their planet. Another missile struck the alien ship. The metal hull cracked. Alien drones began falling from the sky like burning insects. The High Hunter roared in anger. "Human interference will not save you." Ethan shrugged. "Maybe not." Then helicopters appeared. Human helicopters. Military ones. Their searchlights cut through the darkness as they approached the battlefield. Machine guns opened fire. Alien soldiers scattered. The High Hunter raised its weapon again. But suddenly Lyra stepped forward. Her silver eyes began glowing brighter. Energy pulsed through her body. The strange shimmer under her skin became stronger. "What is she doing?" Ethan asked. Lyra looked at him one last time. "I am ending this." The alien soldiers suddenly froze. Their armor flickered. Their weapons shut down. The High Hunter turned toward her in shock. "The Queen Core." Lyra lifted her hand. A wave of silver energy exploded outward. The alien soldiers collapsed instantly. Their armor powered down. Their weapons fell silent. The High Hunter tried to resist. But even it fell to one knee. Lyra's voice echoed across the jungle. "I command you." The High Hunter's glowing eyes flickered. "You betrayed your own empire." Lyra looked at the sky where the burning alien ship was falling. "No," she said quietly. "I saved them." The High Hunter collapsed completely. Silence returned to the jungle. Only the sound of helicopters filled the air. Ethan slowly lowered his rifle. "Well," he said. "That was impressive." Lyra suddenly stumbled. The energy around her faded. Ethan quickly caught her before she fell. "You okay?" That power was not meant to be used this way. Human soldiers began landing nearby. But they stopped when they saw Lyra. One of them walked toward Ethan carefully. "Walker," the soldier said. "What the hell happened here?" Ethan scratched his head. "Long story." He looked down at Lyra. "Very long story." The soldier stared at the destroyed alien ship above the jungle. "You realize you just started first contact with an alien empire?" Ethan nodded. "Yeah." Then he looked at Lyra again. "And I think we might have just made an alien ally." Lyra slowly opened her silver eyes again. She looked at the human soldiers surrounding them. "You do not fear me." The soldier laughed. "Lady," he said, "humans fought each other for thousands of years." He gestured toward the burning alien ship. "You're going to have to try a lot harder than that to scare us." Ethan chuckled. Then he looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was an alien empire. One that had never considered humans a threat. But tonight they had learned something important. Humans were small. Humans were fragile. But humans had something no empire could ever predict. Creativity, courage, and the unstoppable ability to turn impossible situations into victories. Far above the jungle, the remaining alien ships retreated into space. And for the first time in history, the galaxy began to understand a terrifying truth. Humanity was the most dangerous species it had ever met. And this was only the beginning.
Danke, Amy, immerhin.
Amy.
Also, mich möchte überhaupt keiner kennenlernen. Geil. Ach, Schnuffelfee möchte mich kennenlernen.
Guck mal, jetzt hast du schon 2 Damen dabei. Schnuffel
Ich bin
und
Mods zu
Amy.
euch. Was für eine Cookie-Challenge?
Wann bist du wieder in der Nähe?
Von Berlin-Marzahn. Oh, Berlin ist eigentlich so gar nicht meine Hut. Da müsstest du schon schöne Gewitter herzaubern. Dann okay. Ach Gott, Leute, jetzt kann es langsam losgehen. Jetzt fühle ich mich bereit für den Storm.
Oh, Schnuffe, schleim doch nicht so. Der sieht aus wie 21.
Oh, Schnuffel, danke.
Habe ich dich schon ein Jahr älter gemacht mit 22.
Das nächste so Ding hier. Aber wenn wir zum Softcase.
Stimmt, ja, das Softcase jetzt.
Estofex Level 1.
Wo war das vorhin?
Ja, wo der durchs Gras gefahren ist nebendran.
Oder hier hast du die vorhin gesehen, die als wie Pocket-Dinger davon bei dem Baumarkt?
Jesse nimmt uns beide,
Da standen die als
Jascha.
so Kinderdinger
Guck mal,
vor der Tür.
Doppeldate.
Ja.
Geh mal
Diese
Kaffee
Pocket-Motorräder,
trinken.
da stand die Pocket davor.
Walmart, du möchtest eine Bestellung aufgeben. Was willst du denn haben?